Today, by popular demand, it's a subscriber roast. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another subscriber roast, but this time you have the pleasure of having 3 different doctors analysing your face in excruciating detail and telling you exactly what's wrong. Okay, so up first we've got Dr. Kishan. Go.
Right, so this lovely lady, let's split the face into thirds, which is kind of what we do with our golden calipers, and have a look at the facial proportions first. There we go. And I think we can agree that she's really good proportions, really nice proportions, obviously very young. Okay, if I'm going to point out maybe the area that needs a little bit of work, I'd say it's the under eye area. So here we've got a few things going on. We've got this hollow. So that's an anatomical hollow, which we call a tear trough. There is a little bit of accumulation of pigment here. And that is either from the skin being really thin, or it's because there's an accumulation of iron pigments called hemosiderin, which is stuck and sitting in that epidermis there. So there's a few treatments we could suggest for this, like a soft filler to bring out that tear trough, something like Volite, or we could try the new a course of treatments with a Sunekos, or we could even try a little bit of Volite as well. So we've got some options to bring out that hollow in a soft way, so she looks a little bit more awake, a little bit more, a little bit healthier. And finally, that treatment that's really quite popular in our clinic, and I don't see it advertised in many other clinics, it's called light eyes. I love this because when we have someone who's got eyes that appear a little bit more dull, it's a very vitamin C rich cocktail of ingredients, which we inject with about maybe 5 to 10 injections around the eye. And that, in the course of that treatment, seems to really lift the pigmentation and make our patients look a little bit more awake and a little bit brighter as well. I don't know if you agreed, but I think her lips could do with a little bit of hydration. There's clearly some dryness in the lower lip there, and we could sharpen up the contour of the upper lip as well. I would probably suggest we use a really soft filler product, something like Volite, Belotero Balance, or Soft even, and we could even use Volbella from Juvederm. And there's quite a few options we could use for the lips, but I think those would give a little bit of a lip boosting rather than a full-on traditional filler. This is what I think from the side, from the front-on view. We can have a look at the side view and see what we think. In the side profile, we can see, yes, I think back to the lips, I think a little bit of really soft volume with a lip boosting product would be lovely here. And again, the eyes, you can see that there's a bit of a pigmentation change and a little bit of soft filler. The same as before. What I think might improve the profile though is converting this from a slightly retrognathic or retreated chin appearance to bring the chin out a little bit more with a filler such as Voluma or Restylane Defyne, something to give a little bit more strength to that chin. We could even do a little bit in the jawline as well for an elegant jawline, and that will give that sort of classic definition. She doesn't need much, she's really quite good looking, isn't she? The other thing I noticed, which is maybe not so visible in the iPad photo, but this sort of textural change in the skin, and there's a bit of a change in pigmentation here. So this patient might benefit from some skin treatments such as Intracell or some peels, and perhaps some medical skincare as well, maybe something like Obagi. Yeah. And finally, I don't know whether I'd put very much in, but I think, again, for a bit of strength in the face, a little bit more support, we could try a little bit of dermal filler in the temple and perhaps in the cheek as well for a bit more of a contoured look.
All right, okay, so let me just grab that off you.
Sure.
And let's go over to Ewan.
I think all those suggestions are pretty much what I do, because she's obviously really pretty. She's got beautiful eyes to start with. So yeah, just improving the under eye, hollows, pigmentation, we've already touched on that. I think it depends also what look that she wants to go for, because you could make her face more model-esque, I suppose, with what you said, a bit more cheekbone definition would look nice. I completely agree with the lower face. The chin is retruded, especially in profile, but in this front view we see quite a deep mental crease there, the crease beneath the lips called the mental crease. What filling that does is it kind of rotates the chin down ever so slightly, but then starts to project, and then we'd work on the chin, maybe to bring it down perhaps a little bit more into a point, so the face is more V-line, which is meant to be more slimming, more attractive, more model-esque. And again, yeah, just to straighten up that jawline a little bit with dermal filler. She's definitely not got jowls, but she's just got a natural kind of dip in the pre-jowl sulcus area. So you could just strengthen that up a little bit. I think for me, a little bit more mid-face projection would definitely help with the under eye. So you probably, once you've built that mid-face forward slightly, just make it a little bit fuller, you would need to use less product. I think with the lips, I completely agree they need some hydration. A little bit of asymmetry, so this Cupid's bow peak is a little higher than here, so we'd want to balance that up a little bit, and then yeah, a little bit of volume, but something hydrating. And from the side, again, I'm not going to repeat what you said, Kish, because you pretty much nailed it. I see a very slight, I like doing noses, so here there's a little deficiency, so we could straighten that nose up. Looking at the nose, base of nose angle, I think it's quite appropriate. It's over 90 degrees. So I'm quite happy with that, but I think she'd benefit, yeah, just from a little bit of straightening, and perhaps a little bit of tip lift would just make it look a little bit cuter, I suppose, but it's only minor.
So can I ask, would you just pop a little, would you strengthen directly at the tip? Because you mentioned the angle is quite good, and I agree with you. So maybe just a tiny bit in the tip.
Yeah, straighten up. It's not going to take much product. We're talking like 0.3, 0.4 of a mil only to make this nose from pretty straight to straight with a tiny bit of a lift at the tip, just by putting it direct into the tip, yeah.
So from her point of view, as a patient, she wouldn't need many injections. It would just be...
No, like 2 or 3 injections would be what it takes, but the nose doesn't require a lot of product. We don't want to have a big nose. We're just masking slight contour irregularity. So I think that would look great on her, but again, it's only finessing.
I think what might be interesting as well is to hear what you would do first. Because I feel like you probably focus on different areas first, maybe.
Wow.
What would you do first?
What do we look at? I mean, I suppose we know when we're out in, ourselves, what do we look at first in someone's face? They say, eyes are the window to the soul. I do look at the eyes first, actually, and then always a smile. And if a smile is like nice and broad and inviting, then you feel instantly drawn to that person, don't you? But the eyes, for me, if someone is sort of looking awake and they look really fresh, that to me is a really attractive quality.
I knew you were going to say that.
Really?
I knew you
Just
were going to say
I
do the eyes first.
love
I
doing
knew
the
it.
eyes,
I knew it. What would you do?
I would personally treat mid-face first, because I think for me, some of the problems coming from the under eye are from lack of mid-face volume. So just bringing that projection forward will soften this under eye area. Plus, if you treat this mid-face area, it gives you that lift in the jawline and everything that you're talking about anyway, so you might need to use less product further down, but I'm sure you'd structure it almost exactly the same as I would, but probably for me, just starting with this region.
Okay, cool. So I would definitely do the temples. I do the lateral cheek as well. It's difficult to see on this picture, but there's some asymmetry. I think she needs a bit more on this side than on the other side. I would do the anterior cheek as well, because then she's going to need less underneath the eye. So I do those areas first, and then if she wants to do some skin improving treatments for these very fine lines here, we could either use the light eyes, as you said, or the Sunekos, something like that. You could also do the crease of the chin, like you mentioned. Just maybe make the lower part of the face look a bit more feminine by adding a little bit more product in the tip of the chin. We do have just the start of these parentheses around the mouth here. You could put something really soft in there. Some hydrating product in the lip as well. I'd probably do Belotero, actually, like you suggested. I think that's a really nice idea. You could also do a little bit of next top model as well, as it's so called, just by tilting the cannula up slightly going into the hairline there. But I think pretty much everything that you guys have said, I've also repeated. And then looking from the side, yeah, I'd put quite a lot in the chin, actually, because there's really a lot of scope to bring that forwards, isn't there? Sort of like here, I think would be quite nice. Angle of the jaw. I don't know about you, but when I'm doing the jaw, I like to just give it a little squish like this to see where the fat is. So if the fat's here, for example, then we'd inject this side and then just here as well, so that it makes the jawline look straighter. As you said, we could do the nose, rotate the tip slightly. She's got a little bit of volume loss here as well, so we could do some subcutaneous filler there too. I could also make the argument to do some in the forehead as well, bring that out, beluga style. And, you know, I guess we've kind of missed doing the neck as well here.
Yeah.
Not that it's a key. Also, that's quite cute, no? Piercing there. Very, very cute. Okay. So I think you guys at home can see that actually there is quite a lot of consensus about what we would do with an individual patient. It might just be that we perhaps choose a different order in which to suggest the treatment, but then that's going to be a dialogue between yourself and your doctor or whoever's injecting you. But kind of the broad brushstrokes tend to be the same across the board.
Because we're also great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But I think also it's because we're not making this up. Like, there's science and a lot of evidence behind why we suggest doing certain things. So when we might suggest doing, I don't know, temple or forehead injection or something that just sounds a bit mad, it's because there is a reason that we would suggest that.
It's not your first rodeo.
Yes. Okay guys, so that's it for this week. If you have any questions or comments, please let us know in the comment section below. We will see you here again next week. Same place, same time. Bye bye.